I'm James Sweeney with Modern Wall Street, and with 2015 nearing its close, coming to a close very soon, I have the privilege of talking with this man standing directly to the right of me, the head of global capital markets here at the New York Stock Exchange, Mr. Garvis Toler. Garvis, thank you very much for taking time out of your busy schedule to talk with us.
Thanks for having me, James.
So I have to ask you this very first important question. The year 2015 appears to have been a very successful one for the New York Stock Exchange. I have some of the numbers in my hand. We have the total market cap, $25.3 trillion, and also global capital up for a fifth straight year. Now, how has the New York Stock Exchange managed to come up with these great numbers over the period of 12 months?
Thank you for that. It really comes down to a recognition from the marketplace of the unique value proposition we have here at the New York Stock Exchange. Not only do we have all the great technology that you see behind you, but also the people. It's a big part of our model here. That's enabled us to really be successful with a lot of the trends that you're talking about, and I expect that to continue as we continue to innovate and really embrace that combination of the human element and technology.
Now, according to the recent press release from the New York Stock Exchange, I saw that 59 IPOs were listed this year. When you do the math, that's more than one per week. That's pretty impressive. But just as impressive has been the big board's move into big tech, to the point of where I read that the New York Stock Exchange is now the top exchange for tech IPOs. Very important question here. The New York Stock Exchange, how has it managed to bring big tech to the big board when traditionally that hasn't always been the case? And how important of a role have these tech companies played in the New York Stock Exchange in terms of their performance this year?
Thank you for that. And we did 15 tech IPOs this year, raising $6 billion. And it's not just this year. People have been paying attention, have noticed over the past 4 or 5 years, we've been the leading technology exchange. And really it's been a few main factors. One is the unique combination I talked to you about has enabled us not just to attract, but to execute on the world's best and biggest tech companies. You know, the largest company of all time, IPO of all time, Alibaba. This year, First Data was the largest company. We had Fitbit, Square, GoDaddy. So when people start to see that success and start to open their eyes, I think you're seeing the recognition of the marketplace. And they have really had a big part of our success from a market share perspective. And as we know, there are dozens of tech companies, really exciting companies waiting to go, and we're looking forward to welcoming them here as well.
Okay, I'm going to move away from tech for a little bit here because I want to bring up two other sectors. We had Spinoffs, and we also have the international companies coming here to the New York Stock Exchange. Most notably for myself, Ferrari. They had a beautiful auto show earlier this year. I had the pleasure of covering that. What role did those companies play in the New York Stock Exchange performance this year?
Well, hopefully you got to see all those wonderful Ferraris out in front of the exchange when they went public here as well. We're very excited about that. In general, starting with the international companies make up about 20% of our 2,400 listed companies. So this has continued to be a very exciting place for them to want to list. You've got a very deep institutional investment public here. 2/3 of the world's institutional assets are managed here in the U.S. And so when you combine that with a disclosure-based system that really communicates to the world the high standards that we're looking for here, and the New York Stock Exchange itself with a global brand, with the largest, most visible exchange operator in the world, I think companies are really looking to be a part of that, and I think that's had a really good impact. From a spinoff perspective, it's been a record-breaking year, and even if you go back to last year, and I do not see anything that looks like this is going to slow down, and we continue to be dominant in that space as well. So the spinoffs have certainly driven a lot of the results this year.
Okay, last question. Have to ask you it. It's obvious, and you've kind of touched on it in your last two answers. The year 2016 is coming up, less than a week away. How do these trends carry over into the new year, and what can we expect from the New York Stock Exchange in terms of adding on top of that success?
Well, I'm actually quite a bit optimistic about 2016. Overall, 2015 wasn't a banner year in terms of the pure volumes of IPOs in general. The first half of the year was on a normal pace, and then we saw a slowdown in the second half of the year with the increased volatility, concerns around the Fed, a really brisk M&A market. I think some of these trends are going to start to slow down a little bit, and we're going to see a much healthier environment for the IPO market in 2016. And certainly we're doing everything we can to continue to go out and talk to companies, educate them on the going public process, and really encourage them to make the right decision and list here on the New York Stock Exchange.
Mr. Toler, thank you very much again for taking your time out of your busy schedule. Thanks a lot for the conversation. And lastly, Happy New Year.
Thanks for having me, and Happy New Year to you, James.